Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something profound, something that speaks not just to our relationships with others, but to our understanding of purpose, value, and the dynamics of human nature. Have you ever experienced rejection? Perhaps someone walked out of your life, made it clear they didn't value what you brought to the table, and left you questioning your worth. Then, after some time, they returned. And you ask yourself, why? What is the real reason they came back after rejecting you? Rejection is not a reflection of your worth, it's a revelation of their blindness. When someone rejects you, it doesn't diminish your value, it simply means they failed to recognize it. Gold is still gold, even if someone walks away from it because they don't understand its worth. Rejection often stems from misunderstanding. People are quick to walk away from what they don't immediately comprehend. But time has a way of revealing the depth of a person's character, the richness of their spirit, and the value of their presence. When a man comes back after rejecting you, it's often because he has had time to reflect and now he sees what he missed. You see, when you bring something unique to someone's life, your kindness, your wisdom, your strength, and they reject it, they may not realize immediately what they've lost. But over time, the absence of your light creates a void. And in their quiet moments, they begin to feel that void. They return not always because they love you, but because they miss what you provided. Sometimes rejection isn't about you, it's about them. People reject what they aren't prepared to handle. A strong, purpose-driven woman may intimidate a man who hasn't yet found his footing. When a man returns, it may mean he has grown, matured, and now feels ready to embrace what you bring. The real question is not why he came back, it's whether you've grown during the time he was gone. Did you learn more about yourself? Did you nurture your gifts, embrace your calling, and deepen your relationship with your Creator? When someone returns, they must meet a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more confident in your purpose. You are not a fallback option, you are a treasure. And treasures do not beg to be recognized, they shine where they are valued. It's not enough for him to return. The critical decision is yours. Has his return aligned with your vision, your values, and your direction in life? Or is it simply a disruption to the peace and progress you've cultivated? Rejection is protection, and reflection is direction. When someone rejects you, it's often God's way of redirecting you towards something greater. And when they return, it's an opportunity for you to reflect, discern, and choose wisely. Your worth is not defined by who leaves or who comes back, it's defined by the purpose you carry within you. Stand firm, know your value, and never settle for less than you deserve. Rejection is one of the most difficult experiences to face in life because it challenges our sense of self-worth and identity. When someone walks away from you or chooses not to recognize your value, it is easy to internalize that decision and believe it reflects something inherently wrong with you. However, rejection is not an accurate measure of your worth. Instead, it reveals the other person's inability to see, understand, or appreciate what you bring to the table. This misunderstanding is the starting point for reframing how you perceive rejection and your self-worth. Think about the concept of value. Value is not determined by the opinions of others, but by the intrinsic qualities of an object or individual. Take gold, for example. Gold is universally valuable because of its rarity, durability, and beauty. Whether someone acknowledges its worth or not, gold does not lose its value. Similarly, your worth is rooted in the unique qualities, talents, and purpose that define who you are. Rejection does not diminish these qualities, it simply means the other person failed to see them. Many times, rejection is a result of perspective. People view the world and others through the lens of their own experiences, beliefs, and readiness. If someone rejects you, it may have nothing to do with you personally. Instead, it might reflect their inability to align with your vision, appreciate your character, or handle the depth of what you offer. Their limited perspective can cloud their judgment, causing them to undervalue something extraordinary because they do not fully understand it. In relationships, this dynamic is especially prevalent. When someone rejects you, it often stems from their own insecurities, lack of maturity, or unpreparedness. It is not uncommon for people to walk away from relationships or opportunities because they are not ready to embrace the responsibility or growth that comes with them. For example, a person who is unsure of their purpose may reject a partner who is deeply rooted in theirs, not because the partner lacks value, but because the relationship would highlight the areas in their life where they feel inadequate. Rejection can also occur because people tend to compare what they encounter to their past experiences. If someone has been conditioned to accept less or has become accustomed to mediocrity, they may struggle to recognize excellence when it is presented to them. Imagine offering someone a fine work of art when all they have ever known are copies or imitations. Their rejection of the art does not mean it is not valuable, it simply means they lack the frame of reference to understand its worth. Understanding this dynamic is critical because it shifts the focus from external validation to internal affirmation. When you recognize that your value is not determined by someone else's acknowledgement, you become empowered to live authentically. This mindset allows you to maintain your confidence and dignity, even in the face of rejection. It also prevents you from chasing after people or situations that are not aligned with your purpose, freeing you to invest your time and energy in areas where your value is appreciated. Rejection is also an opportunity for reflection. Instead of allowing it to shake your confidence, use it as a chance to evaluate your own perception of your worth. Ask yourself whether you are relying too heavily on others to affirm your value. True confidence comes from knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and the unique purpose you are called to fulfill. When you are grounded in this understanding, rejection becomes less personal and more situational. This principle applies beyond relationships to every area of life, including work, friendships, and personal goals. Consider an artist who submits their work to a gallery and is turned away. The rejection does not mean their art lacks quality. It may mean the gallery is not the right fit, or the timing is not right. The artist's responsibility is not to change who they are to fit the gallery, but to continue honing their craft and seeking opportunities where their work will be valued. Rejection also teaches resilience. It forces you to confront the question of whether you truly believe in your own value. When you rely on external validation, rejection can feel devastating because it shakes the foundation of your self-worth. However, when you are grounded in an unshakable understanding of your purpose and unique qualities, rejection becomes a temporary setback rather than a permanent statement. Ultimately, rejection is a reflection of the other person's readiness, perspective, or understanding. It reveals more about their state of mind than it does about your worth. Recognizing this allows you to separate their decision from your identity. Instead of internalizing their rejection, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that your value remains intact regardless of their response. Rejection, then, is not something to fear or avoid. It is an opportunity to affirm your worth, realign with your purpose, and grow stronger in your identity. In the immediate aftermath of rejection, emotions can cloud both perspectives and decisions. Often people make choices based on limited understanding or incomplete information. They walk away from something valuable without fully realizing what they are leaving behind. However, one of the most remarkable aspects of human nature is how time has a way of clarifying things that were once misunderstood or overlooked. Time brings clarity, and with it comes a deeper understanding of situations, relationships, and the true value of the people we encounter. When someone rejects you, it can feel like a definitive statement about your worth. But what is often happening in that moment is not a reflection of your value, but rather a reflection of their perspective at that time. People's decisions are influenced by their experiences, expectations, and emotional states. A man may reject a woman not because she lacks value, but because he does not yet have the capacity to recognize the depth of what she offers. Time allows him to step back, reassess, and see the situation with fresh eyes. Perspective is everything, and perspective changes over time. Imagine looking at a piece of abstract art for the first time. Initially, it might appear confusing or unremarkable, but as you spend more time with it, you begin to notice the intricate details, the thoughtful composition, and the emotions it conveys. Similarly, when someone takes time to reflect on a person they once rejected, they often come to appreciate qualities they initially overlooked. They see the kindness, strength, and wisdom that were not immediately apparent. Time also allows individuals to experience life without the presence of the person they rejected. When someone leaves a relationship or walks away from an opportunity, they often fail to consider the void that absence will create. It is only through living without that person's unique contributions, their encouragement, support, or perspective, that the depth of their value becomes evident. Time creates space for reflection, and in that space, the truth about what was lost begins to emerge. Another factor that contributes to clarity over time is personal growth. People are constantly evolving, and their capacity to understand and appreciate others grows as they mature. Someone who rejects you today may not have the emotional intelligence, self-awareness, or life experience to fully grasp your value. But as they encounter new experiences and gain deeper insights, they may come to recognize what they were unable to see before. This process is not limited to romantic relationships. It applies to all areas of life. In a professional setting, for example, an employer might overlook a candidate for a job because they do not yet see how their skills and vision align with the company's goals. Over time, as the employer faces challenges or reevaluates their strategy, they may realize that the candidate was exactly what they needed. The same principle applies to friendships, partnerships, and creative endeavors. Time has a way of revealing the truth that was hidden in the moment. Time not only clarifies the value of others, but also provides an opportunity for you to reflect and grow. While someone else is gaining clarity about what you bring to the table, you are gaining clarity about your own worth, purpose, and direction. This dual process of reflection ensures that when clarity is achieved, both parties are better equipped to make decisions that align with their values and goals. It is important to understand that the clarity brought by time does not guarantee reconciliation. Just because someone comes to recognize your value does not mean you are obligated to re-enter their life. The purpose of time is not just to give others the chance to see you clearly, but also to give you the chance to evaluate whether their return aligns with your growth and vision. Time reveals not only their intentions, but also your priorities. Clarity also comes from experiencing alternatives. When someone rejects you, they may pursue other relationships or opportunities, believing those options will be more fulfilling. However, time often reveals that the alternatives do not measure up. It is through these experiences that they come to appreciate what they once had. They begin to see that what they walked away from was not easily replaced. Ultimately, time is a teacher. It teaches lessons that cannot be learned in the heat of the moment. It allows people to step back, reassess, and view situations from a broader perspective. Time is not the enemy. It is a necessary part of growth and understanding. It provides the distance needed for reflection and the opportunity to uncover truths that were once obscured. When someone comes back after rejecting you, it is often because time has given them the clarity to see what they missed. Their return is not just about recognizing your value, but about understanding their own needs and mistakes. Time allows for healing, growth, and a deeper appreciation of what truly matters. The question then becomes whether their clarity aligns with the person you have become during that same period of growth and reflection. One of the most powerful lessons in relationships is the realization that our presence carries a unique and irreplaceable value. Often this value is not fully appreciated until it is absent. People sometimes take for granted the gifts, qualities, and support that others bring into their lives, assuming those things will always be available or easily replaced. It is only when they experience life without those contributions that they begin to recognize the void that absence creates. When someone leaves a relationship or rejects you, they might believe they can move forward without any loss. They may not immediately understand the role you played in their life or the impact of your presence. This is because familiarity often breeds complacency. Over time, people become accustomed to the positive things others bring into their lives, and they stop noticing them. Like the warmth of sunlight or the reliability of a gentle breeze, your presence becomes an unspoken comfort they assume will always be there. However, when you are no longer part of their life, a shift occurs. The absence of your qualities, your kindness, wisdom, encouragement, or support creates a space that cannot easily be filled. They begin to notice the small but significant ways you contributed to their well-being, happiness, or growth. This realization can be slow and gradual, but it is often undeniable. Absence makes them confront the reality of what they have lost. The void left by your absence is not simply about missing you as a person. It is about the unique combination of traits, actions, and energy that you brought into their life. People often underestimate how deeply someone else's presence shapes their experiences and perspectives. For example, a person may miss your calm presence during stressful moments, your ability to provide clarity in confusion, or your habit of celebrating their successes in ways that made them feel truly seen. These contributions might have felt ordinary to them when you were present, but in your absence, their extraordinary value becomes clear. Absence also forces people to reevaluate the relationships and choices they made after leaving. They may encounter new people or situations that initially seemed promising but failed to offer the same depth, authenticity, or support they once experienced with you. This process of comparison highlights the uniqueness of what you provided. It teaches them that not all connections are equal and that certain relationships carry a level of meaning and substance that cannot be replicated. Another aspect of absence is the emotional void it creates. Beyond practical contributions, your presence carries an emotional energy that influences the people around you. This energy might manifest as warmth, reassurance, or inspiration. When someone experiences life without that emotional connection, they often feel a sense of emptiness they cannot quite explain. They may seek to fill that void with other people or distractions, but those efforts often fall short because the connection they are trying to replace was deeply rooted in your unique qualities. The void created by your absence is not limited to romantic relationships. In friendships, family dynamics, or professional settings, the same principle applies. People may take for granted the way you consistently showed up for them, offered a listening ear, or brought positivity into shared spaces. It is only when you are no longer part of their life that they realize how much they depended on your presence, even in subtle ways. This understanding of absence and void should also shape your perspective. While others are reflecting on what they have lost, you have the opportunity to reflect on the value you brought. It is essential to recognize that the void you leave behind is not a sign of weakness in them, or an invitation for you to return without discernment. It is a testament to your worth and the irreplaceable nature of your contributions. When someone begins to feel the void of your absence, they may attempt to return to your life. This can be a moment of validation, but it is also a moment that requires careful consideration. The realization of your value does not automatically mean they are ready to honor or support you in the way you deserve. It is important to discern whether their desire to reconnect is rooted in genuine appreciation or simply a reaction to the discomfort of their loss. It is also critical to recognize that the void they experience is a reflection of their journey, not necessarily a reason for you to alter yours. Absence creates a void, but growth fills it. While they are coming to terms with what they lost, you have the opportunity to grow, discover new aspects of yourself, and align more closely with your purpose. This ensures that any decisions you make about allowing someone back into your life are guided by strength, clarity, and an understanding of your worth. Absence is a powerful teacher. It reveals truths that presence often obscures. It highlights the depth of what you brought into someone's life and challenges them to recognize the unique contributions they once overlooked. At the same time, it is an opportunity for you to affirm your value and ensure that any future connections align with the person you are becoming. The void created by your absence is not a loss. It is a reflection of the space you filled so beautifully and a reminder of the strength and uniqueness you carry within you. Rejection is one of the most challenging experiences to endure because it can feel personal and deeply tied to your sense of worth. However, the reality is that rejection is often more about the person making the decision than the one being rejected. It is a reflection of their state of readiness, emotional maturity, or capacity to understand and appreciate what you bring to the table. Understanding this truth can transform how you perceive rejection and equip you to navigate it with confidence and clarity. In life, people respond to opportunities, relationships, and connections based on where they are in their personal journey. Their choices are shaped by their experiences, mindset, and readiness to embrace what is in front of them. When someone rejects you, it does not necessarily mean you lack value or that there is something wrong with you. Instead, it often means they are not in a place where they can handle, understand, or appreciate what you offer. Readiness is a crucial factor in relationships and opportunities. It involves being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to recognize and align with the potential of what is presented. For example, a person who is still grappling with insecurity or fear may reject someone who exudes confidence and purpose because it challenges their current state. They may feel overwhelmed or intimidated, not because of anything negative about the other person, but because they are not ready to rise to the level required to engage with them meaningfully. Consider this analogy. If you were to give a book filled with profound wisdom to someone who has never learned to read, they might reject the book, not because it lacks value, but because they are not equipped to engage with it. Similarly, a person may reject you because your depth, strength, or vision is beyond what they are ready to comprehend. Their rejection is not a commentary on your worth, it is an acknowledgement of their unreadiness. Rejection can also occur when someone's priorities and focus are misaligned. A person who is preoccupied with short-term pleasures or superficial goals may struggle to see the value in someone who represents long-term growth and depth. They might reject you not because you lack what they need, but because they are fixated on pursuing what they want in that moment. As their priorities shift over time, they may come to realize that the things they chased were fleeting, while the qualities you embodied were enduring. Another important aspect of readiness is self-awareness. People who lack self-awareness may reject relationships or opportunities that would challenge them to grow. They might push away someone who holds them accountable, inspires them to think differently, or encourages them to step out of their comfort zone. In such cases, rejection is not about the person being rejected, but about the other person's unwillingness or inability to confront their own areas of needed growth. It is also worth noting that readiness is often influenced by timing. Life operates in seasons and people are at different stages in their journeys. Someone may reject you today because they are focused on other priorities, dealing with personal challenges, or simply not in a place to invest in a meaningful connection. Timing plays a significant role in readiness, and what is rejected in one season may be cherished in another. When rejection occurs, it is important to resist the urge to internalize it as a statement about your value. Instead, view it as a reflection of where the other person is in their journey. This perspective allows you to maintain your confidence and dignity, recognizing that their decision says more about them than it does about you. It also frees you from the need to prove your worth or chase after their approval. Understanding that rejection is often about readiness also helps you set healthy boundaries. When someone returns after rejecting you, it is tempting to embrace them simply because they now recognize your value. However, their return does not automatically mean they are ready to honor or support you in the way you deserve. It is essential to assess whether their readiness aligns with your growth goals and vision. While rejection can be painful, it also serves as a form of protection. It prevents you from investing your time and energy in people or situations that are not prepared to value or support you. This allows you to focus on areas where your value is recognized and appreciated. Rejection redirects you toward connections and opportunities that are more aligned with your purpose and potential. This principle applies not only to relationships, but to all areas of life. Whether it is a job opportunity, a creative endeavor, or a personal goal, rejection often reflects the readiness of others to embrace what you bring. It is not a measure of your capabilities or potential. Instead, it is a reminder to stay true to your path and trust that the right opportunities will come at the right time. Ultimately, rejection is a temporary response to a larger process of growth and alignment. It highlights the areas where others are still developing and reminds you of the importance of seeking connections that match your own level of readiness and purpose. By understanding this, you can navigate rejection with grace and confidence, knowing it does not define you, but instead points you toward greater possibilities. When someone rejects you and later returns, it is easy to feel validated or even tempted to open the door once again to that person. However, the real question you must ask yourself is not why they returned, but whether you have grown during the time apart. Growth and discernment are essential elements in navigating relationships after rejection, because they allow you to assess not only how you have evolved, but also whether the returning person aligns with the new version of yourself that has emerged. Growth is a transformative process that enhances your emotional strength, wisdom, and understanding. During the time of absence, you should be focusing on your personal development and ensuring that you are continuously moving forward in all aspects of your life. This growth serves as a foundation for making decisions that reflect your purpose and goals rather than emotional impulse or past patterns. Personal growth involves expanding your knowledge, deepening your emotional intelligence, and refining your character. It requires you to look inward and confront your weaknesses while nurturing your strengths. When someone returns after rejecting you, it can be tempting to revisit old patterns and fall back into familiar dynamics. However, if you have truly grown during the time apart, you will recognize that your growth demands a different level of engagement and understanding. You should no longer settle for relationships that undermine your progress or align with versions of yourself that no longer serve your highest good. Growth also involves gaining clarity about your purpose and priorities. As you evolve and develop a deeper understanding of who you are and what you want from life, your decisions become more aligned with your values and long-term goals. This is why growth is such an important factor in determining whether someone's return is a positive development or a step backward. You have to ask yourself if this person's return aligns with your current trajectory, or if it is simply a distraction that could prevent you from moving forward. Your growth should empower you to make choices that reflect your true desires and aspirations, not just your past emotional connections. Discernment is closely tied to growth because it gives you the ability to make informed decisions. Discernment is the ability to judge wisely and make choices that are in alignment with your values and purpose. When someone returns after rejecting you, they might have different intentions or motivations than they did previously. Discernment helps you to evaluate whether their return is driven by genuine growth on their part or whether they are simply seeking comfort in familiar territory. You must ask yourself whether they have changed and whether they are ready to support and respect the new version of you that has emerged. Discernment allows you to see beyond surface-level gestures or apologies and evaluate the true nature of their intentions. It requires you to trust your intuition and observe their actions over time rather than being swayed by words alone. Often when someone returns after rejecting you, they may offer reassurances or promises of change. However, discernment helps you see whether those promises are backed by real action and whether their behavior reflects genuine growth or temporary emotional need. The process of discerning whether to allow someone back into your life involves assessing whether their return would contribute to your growth or hinder it. If they bring with them unresolved issues, patterns of behavior that are inconsistent with your values or emotional baggage that is not properly addressed, their return could be a step backward. On the other hand, if they have taken the time to grow and align with their own purpose and have a clear understanding of how to engage with you in a healthy and supportive way, their return could mark a new chapter of mutual growth. When you approach decisions with discernment, you free yourself from the fear of missing out or being trapped by past emotions. It enables you to make choices from a place of strength, clarity, and self-respect, rather than from a place of fear, loneliness, or insecurity. As you grow, you will find that you are no longer willing to settle for situations or relationships that drain you or prevent you from reaching your fullest potential. You begin to recognize that you deserve connections that honor and support your growth, not those that hold you back or force you to compromise your values. One of the most important aspects of growth and discernment is learning how to set healthy boundaries. Growth requires you to develop a strong sense of self and the ability to say no to situations that do not align with your goals or values. When someone returns after rejecting you, they may not respect your boundaries unless they have also grown in their understanding of what it means to engage in a healthy relationship. Setting clear boundaries is not only an act of self-care, but also a demonstration of your growth and commitment to protecting your emotional well-being. Growth and discernment also involve being patient with yourself. It is easy to rush into decisions based on emotional impulses or the desire to restore a connection that once brought comfort. However, true growth requires patience, the ability to wait for the right opportunity, and the wisdom to recognize when a situation is not right for you. When you approach relationships with this mindset, you open yourself to better opportunities that align with your growth and contribute to your overall well-being. As you grow and practice discernment, you begin to see that rejection and the return of others are not as defining as you once thought. They become part of a larger journey of self-discovery and alignment. Growth and discernment are keys to navigating these moments with wisdom, self-respect, and confidence. You are not the same person who was rejected, and that person's return should not have the power to define your worth or direction. You are now in a place where you make decisions based on your growth, your purpose, and your values. By embracing growth and honing your discernment, you ensure that you continue to move forward in ways that honor who you are becoming rather than who you once were.